As they always say, data does not lie. We finally added power to the LZ0 3.0 Duramax diesel. This truck is a 2024, and I have been driving it around a little bit with the Edge EZX installed. This allows you to change the power levels on the fly. If you have their Insight CTS3, you can go ahead and mount that over here. But in my case, I have the Banks iDash Pro gauges. I absolutely love these. I like the clean look of those, so I don't have the CTS3. However, what I can do is control it by my phone here. And so what I want to do is give my impressions of how this has been over the past couple days, couple hundred miles, driving it around. I got a couple things that I want to point out to you guys. And then I also want to use my Dragy that is right there. We'll connect the app and we'll go ahead and see what this runs a 0 to 60 on stock, power level 3, and then power level 5. I want to point out one thing though. You see the throttle, I have it set at 0 and 0. I'm doing that on purpose because I want to know exactly what the power adder is adding, where the throttle sensitivity, that number, if you can go ahead and change it and you could choose how you want it to respond. So I want to just go with just stock feel just for that. Now normal driving around, it's going to be a lot more fun if you bump that up. So I'm just throwing that out there. We're using straight power adder only to see how this is. Let's talk about how nice it is to drive. We actually have good power when we leave the line. Rolling on throttle just a little bit. I'm barely on throttle and it pulls really, really well. That also comes into play when you're just cruising along like this. And let's say you want to go for a pass, you just want to roll throttle a little bit. The improvement is there. I mean, it's definitely showing more power throughout, and it's very convenient to have. I was happy with the power of the truck in stock form, but a little bit more power was something that I was after, and here we are, and I got it. I'm definitely happy with what this puts out. In my use, level 3 is where I tend to stay. I have not run it long enough to provide fuel MPG changes or anything of that sort, unfortunately, because I've just been out testing, so nothing's going to be definitive at this time. But you know, on this channel, we always share our fuel mileage numbers on this. So fear not, I will have plenty more videos talking about the fuel mileage, the DPF implications. I do have considerable data about the DPF distance and whatnot. So we'll be able to see how this does as we continue on later. So be sure to watch for those videos. I actually have a road trip coming out pretty soon that I'm going to be taking, and that's going to show us so much about this Edge EZX just on regular driving for long distances with hill climbs and everything. So that's going to be more in depth on that. But for now, let's go ahead and get this on the road because I do believe we are up to temperature now, and coolant temp at 169. We're going to go ahead and do some Dragy runs and see how the 0 to 60 is on this with the power levels of 3, 5, and we'll also run stock. Now I do want to roll out there, I am on 35-inch tires. If you don't know which 35s, I do have a video showing which ones those are, and they do fit without rubbing. So that's going to change my speedometer a little bit, but with the Dragy, we're actually going by GPS, so that's not going to change anything. I also have the PPE charge air cooler installed, PPE Zilla pipe, and the PPE elbow. I am running a stock air filter, but we also have the PPE carbon airbox lid. So we do have a couple goodies underneath helping out airflow, but we're going to see what this does. We are at elevation. We are up here in Utah, just south of Salt Lake City. So just for those of you guys that like to crunch numbers and everything, that's where we're at, our location. I'm going to try to find the flattest possible spot, and we're going to go do these runs. All right, here we go. About 1,500 RPM, and go. All right, I let out at 70, so we're going to go ahead and go into Edge EZX. We can change this on the fly. And we're going to do power level. That was stock. We're going to do power level 2. I meant to hit 3. And now we're going to drive a little bit so it can get itself acquainted with the power change. So that way we're not just jamming on it right away. And we'll go to the exact same spot, exact same launch, 1,500 RPM. and roll into it and see what we got. Now, I also want to point out that other people's numbers may be different from mine, obviously, so that's why I'm showing you what mine is from stock to 3 to 5. So we're just going to cruise along right here, and we'll go back to the exact same spot, do it all over again. So recap on the stats. 10 to 70 was 10.09 seconds. 40 to 70 was 6.4 seconds. 8th mile was 10.51, but again, I let off, so let's not go by that. 0 to 60 was 8.45, and 0 to 30 was 3.17 seconds. Here we go. 1500 RPM and go. We have 8th mile 10.28 seconds. 10 to 70 was 9.44. 40 to 70 6.01. 0 to 60 8.00 flat. 0 to 30 and 3.05 seconds. So again, what we're going to go ahead and do is go to the Edge EZX, and we will ramp this up to level 5. Again, we are not adding any throttle sensitivity at all to this. I'm not in sport mode or anything. I'm launching a 2-wheel drive. We're just trying to get what this unit actually puts out. So power level 5 is activated, and we will go ahead and go back to the Dragy. And again, we'll drive this and let it learn a little bit, let it reacquaint itself to the added power. All right, here we go. 1500 RPM, level 5, and go. A little bit tire spin. It got it though. 0 to 30, 2.99 seconds. 0 to 60, 7.8. Woo! That was pretty darn good. All right, so 8th mile, 10.24 seconds. 10 to 70, 9.35. 40 to 70 is 5.82 seconds. 0 to 60, 7.8 seconds. 0 to 30, 2.99 seconds. A little bit of wheel spin there. It hooked, slipped, grabbed, went, did all of everything, and those are the numbers that we got. So this is just for fun data, not purely scientific, obviously, but this gives you an indication as to what kind of power difference there is with this Edge EZX, and clearly there is a power difference. It is definitely enhancing it. So hopefully this helps you make a decision if you want this for yourself or not. I know I absolutely enjoy it. I do think the CTS3 Insight would be nice to have up here to be able to change on the fly, but again, I'm not changing all the time. Outside of that, I like what I have on my setup. Now let's go ahead and compare all of the numbers to each other and see how it performs. As they always say, data does not lie. And here we have, I wrote it all down on the board so that way it's even more clear to see if there was any difference on here. And I did some creative stuff on here, and I think that's going to benefit all of us. Now, I want to point out that I'm not a professional drag racer. This was just straight off of regular launches, you know, just comparing my personal times to each other. Now we have stock, EZX on level 3, EZX on level 5. 8th mile here, we do have a 10.51 in stock form, 10.28 on level 3, 10.24 on level 5. Now, if you remember from the video, we actually had some wheel slip here, which I think attributed to that time, and there's still more to be had. If we did multiple launches, we'll have more, but I also want to talk about temperatures down here, but we're going to discuss that in a moment. 0 to 30 miles an hour was 3.17 versus 3.05 versus 2.99. Again, we had wheel slip here, so I think there was even more room for improvement on that. 0 to 60 time, 8.45 is what I saw on my truck. 8.0 on level 3, 7.8 on level 5. Now, obviously, that's a significant improvement right there, and comparing stock to the level 5, even greater. I mean, we're over 0.6 of a difference on the 0 to 60. Absolutely incredible on that. 10 to 70 miles an hour. Why is this important? I added this on the Dragy. That's important because we will see the 10 to 70 mile per hour when you're merging onto the freeway. 10.09 is what I saw in stock form. 9.44 on level 3. Significant improvement there. 9.35 on level 5. Again, I think wheel slip may have paid or played into that number a little bit, but 40 to 70 miles an hour. Again, why is this important? I added that onto the Dragy as well. The reason that's important is because that's roughly where you're going to be passing on the freeway. So 6.4 is what we saw in stock, 6.01 on level 3, 5.82 on level 5. Significant improvement across the board. And you can see why I liked level 3, and I just went to the medium, because we're sitting on good numbers, and then this moves it over to great numbers. Now, on the Banks iDash gauges up in the corner, we saw EGT on there. We saw 1150, 1180, and 1179. That to me is tremendous, because with added power, added fuel, you typically will see greater EGT temperatures, and we did not see that in this case, which means the fueling and the air are matching each other to keep it all within factory numbers. So I think that's tremendous. I like to see that. I also want to point out on the temperatures before we launched: engine oil temperature, engine coolant temperature. Stock, we were at 199 and 201. When we went to go do run number 2, we were sitting on 219 and 207. So temperature was going up, which means typically higher temperatures means lower power. So again, this is not playing into the favor of the level 5, and we still had significant numbers on there. And then engine oil temperature was 221 and 214 for engine coolant temp. Again, none of these numbers are hot. I just want to point out that we did start off colder when we did the stock numbers, and had I given it more time to cool down and a little bit more time in between, we probably would have seen better numbers here, and the same so on this one. Had I launched in 4-wheel drive on all these, I think we would have had even more different numbers. But there's so many different factors. But what I'm trying to show here is, does the Edge EZX unit work? And in my case, it does show improvements where it matters most to me. I'm not racing around 0 to 30, 0 to 60. However, I am passing cars on the freeway at 40 to 70 miles per hour. And if you're in Utah, you'll get that joke, because we do go 40 to 70 miles per hour on the freeway, even in the fast lane. But we'll ignore that part. 6.4 was stock, 6.01, 4/10 improvement. So when you need that, you're passing right away. So hopefully all these numbers helped you out. Let me know what you think about this, and what else I can test, so that way it helps you make an educated decision if this is right for you. Till next time, see ya.